Of what benefit is it for a landlord to work so hard in acquiring a property and fail to recognize the obligations of landlord under the law? This will be our topic for today. Welcome to Law and Property with Dr. Prince Joel, your real estate investment coach. On this channel, we will be learning everything you need to know about real estate transactions, documentation, due diligence, and property management. If these interest you, do well to subscribe. In every contractual agreement, for there to be a smooth running of this agreement, there must be obligations and duties. And so, we will be looking at the obligations of the landlord. You can as well say the rights and obligations of the landlord. The same way the tenant has his obligations and duties, the same way the landlord has his obligations and duties. What are the obligations of a landlord? In other words, what are the things that a landlord should do? Number one, a landlord has a right to delegate to an agent or a solicitor. This simply means that a landlord can appoint an agent or a lawyer to act on his behalf. When this is done, the landlord must put it in writing, either by a power of attorney or by a facility management agreement. Whenever a landlord delegates an assignment or delegates his power to an agent or a solicitor, it must be backed with a document well signed by both parties. Number two, right to inspect the property. A landlord has a right to inspect his or her property. The only exception there is that the landlord must notify the tenant before inspecting. You don't expect the landlord to come in the night and say he wants to inspect his property. And so, to inspect his property, the landlord must notify the tenant before he inspects the property. Number three, right to issue quit notice and right not to issue quit notice. A landlord has a right to issue a tenant a quit notice when the rent is still running. And he also has a right not to issue a quit notice when you have overstayed, the rent has expired. Example, if your rent is to expire August 30th and you have stayed extra 3 months or 6 months, the landlord can waive and choose not to issue you a quit notice and proceed to evict you. 4. Landlord shall pay charges and rates as may be prescribed by law, and this differ state to state. For example, in Lagos, the landlord pays what they call the land use charge, not the tenant, but the landlord. Number 5, the landlord shall not restrict the tenant of the use of common facilities or services. Example, the car park, recreational centers, access road. In some estates you have shopping mall and the rest of them. 6, the landlord shall not deprive the tenant of using his personal property in the compound. Any personal property, landlord has no rights to do that. 7, the landlord shall insure the external part of the building. It is the duty of the landlord to insure the property. The external part, you can insure the internal part, your furniture, upholsteries and all of that, while he does the external. 8, it is the duty of the landlord to repair the external part of the building. External part of the building includes painting of the wall, repairing the roof in the case of leakage, the fence, the interlocking in the compound. These can be referred to as external part of the building. 9, it is the obligation of the landlord not to disturb the privacy and exclusive peaceable possession of the premises. This means that once the tenant rents the property, the landlord has no right to disturb the tenant. Going to knock on the tenant's door in the night is absolutely wrong, or doing anything that will disturb the peace of the tenant is absolutely wrong and illegal. Number 10, the landlord shall keep the property in a habitable condition. This means that the landlord should not rent a house that is not habitable. If you have not completed that house, do not rent it out. It is illegal. It is wrong. Now the bonus points. Payment of receipts. It is illegal for a landlord not to issue you a payment receipt. In Lagos, for example, the tenancy law of Lagos State, Section 5 precisely, makes it illegal for a landlord to receive money and fail to give you a receipt. So the next time you pay rent, make sure you get your receipts. In our next video, we will be discussing about the obligation of the tenant. Just like the landlord has his own obligation, the tenant also has his own obligation. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell to get notified when that video is uploaded. To connect with me, contact the details on the screen. If you say hi to me, I will respond as soon as I can. Do say hi to me, and surely I will respond. I remain your favorite real estate investment coach, Dr. Prince Joel.